All right, now I've got a fresh scalpel blade, and so I'm going to open up the abdominal cavity more. This is going to be a little smellier down here. This is the joint, the pelvic joint. This poor little bear. There's the bladder, empty, fortunately. I don't have a bigger saw. I wish I would have brought my little bone saw. It would have allowed me to cut through that pelvic joint. I don't want to really twist the scalpel blade in there. But on a small bear or a small animal, you could use something like a scalpel blade and probably work your way into the joint a little bit and then crack it. I may see if there's a pair of shears that I can use in the lab to crack that so we can have better access to the entire tract. But anyway, we have the intestines. It's the liver. The liver's been damaged from being in the freezer. Hopefully you can see as I'm cutting away the diaphragm, the dark mass on the very top of the stomach is the liver. This blade's not sharp. Maybe I ruined it already. Just spread this out a little bit. Here's the liver. Somewhere, here's the gallbladder attached to the liver. The gallbladder on bears has been the subject of a lot of controversy. It's used quite a bit in Chinese medicine to the point where there was a lot of black bear, American black bear poaching that went on just for the gallbladders. The gallbladders would be harvested from bears and dried, and then they could be sold in the Asian markets and the black market on the US, and then sold to Asia for thousands of dollars a pound, or even for individuals. So there were some fairly high profile sting operations that went on in the 1990s to try to get into these poaching rings for bears in the Appalachians, and they did a good job at finding and arresting a lot of the folks who were involved. Still an issue with bears, the sale of the gallbladder in Massachusetts. I don't think it's legal to sell the gallbladders of bears, even legally harvested bears. In New York, it has been. I'm not sure if it still is. But regardless of that, the Chinese have obviated the need for a lot of wild bear gallbladders by farming Asiatic black bears in China. And so in China, there are tens of thousands of bears in these bear farms. Many of them are raised specifically for the production of bile. They have catheters that run right into the gallbladders of the live bears and extract the bile on an ongoing basis from these bears. So it's not something we do in the US, but this is what it's all about, this little sac that is attached to the liver. Humans have a gallbladder, as you know, and you can have yours removed if it's inflamed or if you get gallstones. But then you have a little bit of an issue sometimes processing fats as well in your diet. Here's the stomach, a large sac underneath, directly underneath the liver. Again, the bear's been in the freezer, and it sat outside in warm weather for the better part of a day. So some of the discoloration and spoilage can be caused simply by that time that it spent. Remember, it was pretty warm that end of September day. And so some of the fat has discolored already, even the subcutaneous fat, some of the internal fat has discolored. So that's part of what we're looking at. Again, here's the gallbladder on this bear. I'm going to cut into the stomach. I'm pretty sure we already know what's in here, though. We're seeing corn in the intestines. And so I'm going to expect that where this little mass is in the stomach is going to be corn. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Not terribly surprising, given this bear's location and the time of year. Unlike things like deer and moose, bears have a simple stomach, just a one-chambered stomach. They're not ruminants. So whatever they consume goes into the stomach like this. And they try to digest as much as possible, breaking it down in the stomach and extracting those nutrients as it runs through the intestinal tract.